time?
Thank you. I move to nominate Tony Moran.
Great. Do we have a second? Thank you, Mr. Bruder. Seconds. All in favor, please signify by raising your hand. That is unanimous. Thank you. Mayor, I hand it over to you.
Thank you. Welcome, everybody. It's always a pleasure having a new council. I've been reminded this is the first time that the town council has had a majority of women, and it's about time. So as you know, Mansfield is known for its women leaders, and I think we are prepared to continue our reputation and our practice. The next item on the agenda is the election of the deputy mayor. Do I have a nomination for deputy mayor?
I nominate Ben Shaken for deputy mayor.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
Second by Mr. Bruder. All those in favor of Mr. Shaken as deputy mayor, please raise your hand. Thank you. Congratulations, Mr. Shaken. Good to have you sitting next to me, helping me when things go wrong. The next item on our agenda is the council's rules of procedure. What we normally do is adopt the rules of procedure as they stand now, and then refer them to the Committee on Personnel and Procedures for review to see if there's anything that needs to be changed. So in your, there's a motion on, I believe it's page 5. Come on, come on.
I got it.
Mr. Shaken?
It's a long one, so I'll give you some time to find it, Mayor.
I got it.
So we will do that. So we have something that we can follow as we proceed with our meeting. Be it resolved that under the authority of Section C 302 of the Town Charter, the Town Council of the Town of Mansfield does hereby adopt as its rules of procedure the Town of Mansfield Town Council Rules of Procedure dated January 27th, 2025. These rules are in effect for the term of office of the Town Council or until revised and shall be adopted by the Town Council at the organizational meeting. Procedural matters not covered by the Town Charter or these rules of procedures will be determined by the mayor or by the deputy mayor in the absence of the mayor, in accordance with Robert's Rules of Order newly revised.
Do I have a second? Ms. Cotton seconds. Any comments, or do you speak to your motion?
No.
Okay, all those in this?
Oh.
Yes, Ms. Zajac?
Well, I just wanted to ask a question about the Robert's Rules of Order
Yes.
and the revised. I know we talked briefly about it before the meeting.
I believe Ms. Mullins has a copy of the book which we cite in our rules of procedure. It is
Is
the
in-
abridged version. It's a yellow covered paperback.
Oh, okay. All right.
We have several people who are fairly expert on Robert's rules, so whenever I get lost, there are people who know what to tell me to do. Mr. Shaker.
Thanks. Yeah, there's I would say we rarely end up in Robert's disputes, more disputes about the rules that we have, which are slightly different than Robert's. And then there's a whole gray area that happens where the mayor's ruling is ultimately the rule, and that's how Robert's works as well.
Yes. The one thing that we don't do is we don't require people who are speaking to stand up, which Robert's Rules does. So there are a number of minor changes like that. We have operated fairly formally in the past several years, so we use last names both for council members, people making presentations, and staff. But otherwise, we operate fairly loosely, but if there's ever a dispute, it's Robert's Rules that prevail.
I appreciate you explaining it for the new ones that are on the board.
Please, if you, I really do encourage particularly people who are new, to ask questions, because it's a lot to absorb all at once. So, all right. So we have a motion to refer the rules of to adopt the rules of procedure. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, we're unanimous. And Mr. Shaken, do you want to do the second one?
Yes, I move effective today to refer the review of the council rules of procedure to the Town Council Personnel and Procedure Committee.
Do I have a second for that?
Seconded.
Mr. Bruder seconds. All those in favor.
speak in favor of this one.
Yes.
So we have revised our rules several times over the last couple of years, but this is something, as the mayor said earlier, that we do at the beginning of every term. Traditionally, we ask our town council's personnel committee to take a look at them. It's such a tradition, in fact, that 2 terms ago, the Personnel Committee renamed itself to the Personnel and Procedure Committee so that their name could reflect this very important duty that they
Right.
have. And so as the mayor will be appointing that committee shortly, but if there's anything that needs adjusting in our meeting order or anything else that's in our rules of procedure, then the council will get a referral back from that committee and we can make an adjustment.
Okay, the most recent adjustments had to do with hybrid meetings so that we could make people who are on or participating online were legal. Okay, so we need a vote on the referral. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, we're unanimous. Now we're moving on to the meetings of the town's council. You'll see the list in your packet. I always have to ask, has there been have religious holidays been taken into account in this list?
Yes, Mayor, major religious holidays have been taken into account.
Thank you. And so would somebody like to make Mr. Shaken or Mr. Bruder?
Move to adopt the following resolutions. Resolved pursuant to section C302 of the town charter, the town council shall hold its regular meetings at 7 p.m. on the second and fourth Mondays of each month, except when adjusted for holidays, in which case meetings may be held on a Tuesday or Wednesday, or in months when only one meeting is necessary. Meetings shall take place in the council chambers of the Audrey P. Beck Building or by means of electronic equipment. The 2026 meeting schedule as prepared and presented by the town clerk is hereby approved.
I'll second it. That's the time.
There are several motions. You'd want to
Further
make all of
resolved,
them.
pursuant to section C302 of the town charter, the town council shall provide methods for the calling of special meetings. Special meetings of the town council may be called by the mayor or on the written request of at least 3 members of the council, filed with the offices of the town manager and town clerk, not less than 36 hours, excluding Saturday, Sunday, legal holidays, and any day on which the office of the town clerk is officially closed. In advance of such meeting, which request must specify the date and time and business to be transacted, and copies of this notice shall be served by mail or personally upon each council member and the town manager, or left at their usual place of abode at least 24 hours prior thereto. Resolved, emergency special meetings may be called by the mayor or the town manager in case of an emergency with at least 2 hours notice given to council members without complying with the posting of notice requirement, but a copy of the minutes of every such emergency special meeting shall be filed with the town clerk not later than 72 hours following the holding of such meeting in accordance with the Freedom of Information Act, Connecticut General Statute, Section 1-225, subsection D.
I'll second that.
Moved by Mr. Bruder, seconded by Mr. Keechner. Question?
Yes. Okay, 2 things that I have a question about. One is weather. In case of a blizzard or a hurricane or some kind of, is that under the emergency special meeting category?
What we would do is we would cancel the regular meeting and then we would set a date for a special meeting, or we wouldn't do an emergency meeting under those circumstances.
What would be the definition of an emergency special meeting?
Emergency meeting would be there's a catastrophe in town like a hurricane and we
Okay.
need to pass some kind of appropriation or do something very quick. We haven't had an emergency meeting in all the years I've been on the council.
Mhm.
Mr. Shaken?
Often, if there's inclement weather, if we are able to, from notice requirements or whatever, we'll move the meeting to be virtual. Or Ryan will come in his big pickup truck and staff the in-person meeting, but strongly advise that all of us stay home and go on Zoom. All of our meetings are hybrid, but we do have the option to move them to more virtual. And we can also notice a special meeting that's virtual only. Our
Right.
regular meetings will always be hybrid.
And we typically, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
typically we'll go to a Tuesday meeting if there's a Monday that we're not meeting.
Yes.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that is, you will see that in that list. There are a couple of dates where there's a Monday that's a holiday and we have set a Tuesday meeting instead. Sometime this past year, we had a Wednesday meeting because there was a holiday and a holiday. But we will use the next business day for next available business day.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Are we ready to vote on the, Mr. Shaken?
Just a comment, you'll see notated four meetings during the year that are notated as possibly canceled. We have a long tradition of canceling two of those, the last meeting in December and the last meeting in August. The town manager is interested in extending that tradition potentially to the other second meetings of the month in the summer, when we often have a very short agenda and are dealing with lots of travel schedules. So we'll cross that bridge when we come to it in June, but that's what that notation means on the dates as well.
You have 4 of them listed as possible.
As possible. If there's business, we will not cancel those meetings. I mean, if there's something we need to do, we will meet.
That's fine.
Okay,
Thank you.
are we ready to vote on the schedule of meetings? All those in favor, please raise your hand. We are unanimous. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the appointments to standing council committees. I have conferred with my Democratic colleagues and also Mr. Temeko has talked to his colleagues, and we have a proposed list. And unfortunately, I left my list at home. So here's what I think it is. I did email it to Ben. Ben, can you find it? Because I couldn't find it. It wasn't in my sent emails. May I read your computer? Thank you.
Could I ask a question?
Sure.
I was not conferred. D'Amico never called me on this.
Okay, well,
So-
what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you a suggested list.
Mhm.
And I'm not going to make there are appointments which are made by the town, by the mayor. There are appointments which are made by the town manager, and there are appointments that are made by the council. I'm going to read you my recommended list and ask for your approval. It doesn't, if you want to wait until the next meeting, we can do that. I will also read you some of the suggestions we have for council appointments. That's in the next motion. That's in the advisory committees. And we can decide what to do about that. And then we can make recommendations to Mr. Aylesworth about his appointments. So,
May I ask you a question, Mayor?
yes,
Are these committee appointments council appointments or are they mayoral appointments?
the council committees are mayoral. The others are council.
So this is ultimately a mayor's decision to appoint councilors to committees. It's one of her very few powers, official powers as mayor, and
Very few
but
official powers.
she has gracefully taken into consideration what people would like to do. And so
So let me read. Yes.
Oh,
Let me,
I respect that. I respect that.
so
But
here's,
what I don't respect is that I was not conferred with the Republican representative to give you input as
Okay.
to who you would like to be on these
well,
committees.
I have no say over who confers outside of my caucus. So I will leave that and I will read you the recommendations that I have for appointments to committees. Okay.
Noted.
We have a finance, a personnel and procedures, and a committee on committees. The finance committee prepares all of the budgetary matters, and the chair of that committee will present the budget at the town meeting. So my recommendations for the finance committee are that Ben Shaken continue to chair, Ms. Cotton continue to serve, and Mr. Kiefner continue to serve. this is one of those committees where experience is very helpful. For Personnel and Procedures, I'm recommending that Mr. Bruder serve as chair and the other members be Sarah, Ms. Dufresne, and Mr. Temeko. For the Committee on Committees, and this is where we often stick new members, for two reasons. First of all, because it acquaints you with the business of the town. There are dozens of committees. And also because new members often have wider ranging contacts than some of the old members. And so it gives us a chance to dig into a deeper well of potential volunteers for the town. We have approximately 250 to 300 volunteers, and any committee which is appointed by the council or the mayor, or even on occasion the town manager, has to have its members go through this committee. So the Personnel Committee, I am recommending Ms. Cotton as chair, Ms. Mullen, and
Committee on Committees is first.
okay, Committee on Committees, Ms. Cotton, Ms. Mullen, and Ms. Zychek. Now, if anybody objects to their appointment, please let me know and we can revisit this. There are 2 Democrats and a Republican on every committee. I've tried to make sure that everybody gets somewhere interesting. There are other committees as well. So, Mr. Temeko.
I just wanted to clarify. I think there's a little bit of a misunderstanding. Although you and I talked, I never indicated that I had talked to all of the Republicans. And so Gail is right. I didn't talk to her. I think your suggestion for the committees is a good one.
Okay. So if anybody objects to that appointment, please let me know, and we will we'll table this motion until our next meeting for final appointment. The next one is the appointment of council representatives to advisory committees. Now, this is a wide-ranging set of appointments. I'm going to go down through the list as it's in your packet. The first is Discovery Depot. Ms. Cotton, are you willing to remain on the board? Okay.
Yes.
And I am appointed to the ex officio on the Downtown Partnership, and I would like to stay there. The Economic Development Commission, this one is problematic. I am ex officio there, but their meetings conflict with the Downtown Partnership board meetings, and so we probably need somebody else. Mr. Coleman was also there, so we need a replacement for him, but I understand Mr. Kiefner is interested in this position. There's an emergency management committee, which I am ex officio appointed to, which hasn't met in a year or more, as far as I'm aware. But I will remain on that if the town manager agrees. It's his appointment. And the Sustainability Committee, we have 2 vacancies. We have a counselor or an ex-counselor who can serve on this, and I need volunteers. So at some point, would you please let me know who wants to be on that? And then it's a council appointment. We'll bring it to the next council meeting. Then comes the Town and University Relations Committee. This is appointed by the council as a whole. I am willing to remain there, but we need a replacement, and I understand Mr. Kiefner is interested in that position. Then there's Transportation Advisory Committee. This one is increasingly important as the transportation needs with Wyndham Regional Transportation have gotten more complex, particularly with the new developments at Four Corners, and they're taking over the transportation for the university. So we have 2 vacancies, and I would be delighted to have volunteers for that.
Question. Is
Yes.
the Transportation Advisory Committee?
Yes.
I think we change the rules so that the council members are no longer actual members of like voting nature. It's-
They're ex officio,
It
Okay.
says non-voting.
non-voting.
Oh, sorry. I would. Thank you.
Yes, both of them are list that non-voting.
I should also point out, I forgot my laptop at home, so I apologize.
But
Um,
can I ask a question about?
yes, Mr.
Yes, they're
Zager.
ex officio appointee non-voting, but they would report back
They would
to
go to the meetings,
councils.
yeah, they represent the council at that meeting and report back when there's something to report. I am an ex officio appointee to the Capital Region Council of Governments, but I have asked Mr. Aylesworth to serve in that role in my stead as my representative. So if that is agreeable to you, we can continue that disposition. The Ad Hoc Committee on the Plan of Conservation and Development. This is a committee made up of members of the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Town Council, working on the development of the new plan that will be completed by the end of December or early January. I am on it as an ex officio, and so are Ms. Cotton and Mr. Kiefner.
And so is Mr. Shuren. He came to the meetings, was he not on it officially?
But he's no longer a
I
counselor.
understand that, but the term ended today. It just says vacant. I don't want to have him to be considered vacant. He was there. He has been there.
Yes, he has been there. So the question is, who on the council today wants to be on the Plan of Conservation Development? So if somebody would like to volunteer for that, please let me know and we will act on that at our next meeting. Any questions about the committees as they are before us?
A question.
Sure.
So I don't think I'm well represented in the committee that I've been put on, or who do I talk to? Would I talk to you later, or for you to know what my expertise is, my experience and where
Sure.
I'm coming from?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
All right, so that takes care of items D and E. You have my recommendations. There are areas where I have no recommendations. I'm looking for volunteers, and we will take care of that at our next meeting. The next item is the appointment of the town attorney, Mr. Shaken.
Thank you. I'd like to make the motion here in a second, which is to appoint Kevin Deneen as our town attorney. Kevin will be joining us shortly in an executive session. The town attorney appointment is one of the couple of things that we are required to do by charter every term. It dates back to colonial times, probably. Some towns do clerks and stuff, but we do the town attorney. We also try to make this professional, even though it is a political appointment. And so the town has gone out to the market to look for a town attorney every so often. I believe 2 years ago was the last time that we went out to bid. 1 year ago.
2021 was the last full competitive, the last reappointment in 2023. I don't believe there was a competitive process in 23.
I believe that is when we went out to bid. It was 2 years ago. And we received 2 bids at that time. One was a large firm.
Yes,
And-
you're correct. Sorry.
In 2023, and the other was Kevin's firm. Kevin has a long bipartisan background. I believe he's the chapter leader of the Connecticut Municipal Attorneys Association, or was very recently. Before his law firm, he was a campaign manager for Governor Jody Rell. We've been working with him since I joined the council. Actually, I think my first year was his first year, possibly, or second year, 2015.
2014 was when I started.
2014, 2015, yeah. So what I would recommend is that we make this appointment tonight, and if the council decides that they want to go in a different direction, we are simply extending his contract with this appointment tonight, and we can decide to more quickly than we have done in the past, go back out to bid. I think as a matter of practice, we do it every 5 years or so. So we'd be mid-cycle, but certainly something that we can do. Just a quick note about his firm's fee arrangement with us. We pay an annual fee, the amount of which is not at the tip of my tongue, I think $39,000. And that covers everything. That's a retainer for his firm, all of his work for the town, with the exception of litigation where he charges hourly. We will sometimes engage outside counsel and other things like that. But for the most part, all the work that Kevin does, which we only see a tiny fraction of, is covered in that annual fee. He works very closely with all the staff, the Planning and Zoning Commission also. He's also the attorney for the PZC. And all of that work is covered under that annual fee. So let me find the motion, but I'll pause. Looks like Mr. Kiefer might have a question.
No, I just want to make a point that as I read it, the contract can be terminated at any time on our side. And I think you alluded to that, but I just wanted to make that clear that it can be stopped
Correct.
right immediately, whereas they have to give us 30 days, again, as I read it. So I think in that way, we're not at a lot of risk continuing this.
However, this motion does ask for a reappointment for 2 years. So,
I understand that, but the contract itself, what the motion does, as I see it, is it's saying that council would like to do this as we see things looking at the
Right.
moment, but that, again, the contract allows us to turn it off.
and we usually start his contract a month after the new council is seated, just so that we have if there is a bidding process, we have an opportunity to complete it. Yes, Ms. Sycek.
I read the contract and at a later date, could I get some answers to some of the language of the contract and what some things actually do mean? So I'm not against hiring this company again. I am in favor of it, but on the other hand, I'd like to have some discussion of the contract, especially for the new members, for us to understand the contract completely.
Do it now.
Let's do it now. Yes. Why don't you ask what, for example, give us.
Okay, so for example, the town decided to continue retaining the services. And so the town, being the town council, along with the town manager, decided to continue retaining the services. On the first paragraph,
Well,
first page.
the town is the town as a whole. So it includes planning and zoning. It does not include the Board of Education.
Okay.
And so
PhD.
it is the council's job to do the hiring.
Yes.
Okay, but
understand.
he represents the town as a whole, not just the council.
Yes, okay, I understand that. And then being available upon the reasonable request of the town. So the town would be the town council, the town manager, and P and Z.
We generally require certain people to have direct access to the attorney. From the council's point of view, we go through the town manager. If anybody has a question of the town attorney, we make direct the question to Mr. Aylesworth. Mr. Aylesworth directs it to Mr. Deneen or answers it or whatever is necessary. On the planning and zoning level, they have their own process. The Board of Ed has its own separate attorney, an education attorney. The town manager also hires a labor attorney, which we are not part of that particular process. The charter requires this council only to hire the town's attorney.
So this council, this is a fairly new contract then that they submitted.
Well, this is the council. This is the contract that's been in effect with some date changes, I would suspect.
Yeah, there's a couple changes aside from the dates. The retainer, because it's been several years, was adjusted, I believe, $4,000. And at my request, on page 4 or 26 to 59, if you're looking at the numbering that way, there was a passage added that if during the term of the agreement, the town wished to appoint additional counsel that would substantially affect the duties under the retainer or under the contract, that the retainer would be revisited by the parties. So as a for instance, and this would be subject to additional discussion with the council because it's your appointment, because of the increasing workload, in particular with planning and zoning and building and housing, these are certainly areas that our town attorney is proficient in, but it is a lot for him to manage in addition to the other portfolio in other towns. So there could come a time during this contract when we want to come back to the council and propose that those particular topics be sort of segmented off. That's something we've talked with Attorney Deneen about, and that's why that's in there.
And that would be, we would reduce the retainer at that
There would be an
point.
adjustment because the retainer, the 39,000, and the retainer has always contemplated that he would be doing that aspect of the work, and so obviously it should be reduced down if he's no longer doing those types of services.
Thank you. Thank you.
That
Any-
answers the question, because I had that as a question. I'm thinking 39,000. It didn't reflect that there was a raise in there. And I'm thinking, wow, that's fairly reasonable priced.
That's one of the reasons we hire him. We don't care to pay for the great big fancy offices of Shippen and Goodwin. And Mr. Shaker.
I'd like to move effective December 4th to reappoint the firm of O'Malley, Deneen, Leary, Messina, and Azwecki as town attorney through December 2nd, 2027. Further move to authorize the town manager to execute the agreement for services between the town of Mansfield and that firm as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Kiefner. Any further questions?
December 4th, I thought it was,
The contract is dated as of December 4th.
okay, I thought it was December 2nd, okay.
The motion says December 4th.
It does, and the contract expires on December 2nd,
So we have,
2027. On purpose.
That's where I understood that.
okay. Are we ready to vote? Mr. Bruder? No, all those in favor, please raise your hand. Thank you. And you will get to know Mr. Deneen later this evening. The next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of October 27th, 2025.
Move to approve.
Mr. Shaken moves to
Second.
approve, Mr. Kiefner seconds. We have an informal practice that anybody can vote on the minutes, but those who are not in attendance generally abstain. So you can do what you want. So the minutes are in front of us. Any comments or corrections? All those in favor, please raise your hand. Okay, the one thing that's missing from this agenda is a consent agenda. Often we have items which, like proclamations or grant requests that everybody knows we're going to agree on, and it doesn't need a great deal of discussion. And that goes into the consent agenda. Minutes also go there. Under our rules, if any counselor objects to having an item on the consent agenda, they can ask for it to be removed. It will be placed somewhere else on the agenda, and we can talk about it. It's a way of moving things along.
Mayor, can I just
Mr.
note
Bruder.
that I abstained from the minutes?
Oh, I'm sorry. All those who abstain, please raise your hand. Yes, Ms. Mullen, Mr. Dufresne, Ms. Zajac, and Mr. Bruder. Okay. Now, we are at the opportunity for the public to address the council. Is there anybody from the public who wishes to address the council? Seeing nobody, I will close the opportunity. There is no old or new business. Mr. Aylesworth, the report of the town manager.
Thank you, Mayor. Well, first, I want to say on a personal note, looking forward to working very closely with all the new members of the council. And it's always a great collaborative partnership. So congratulations on your election. I'm sure the mayor will have a bit more to say on Veterans Day programming during her report, so I'll leave that to her for at least two of the three events. I just want to point out that tomorrow, actual Veterans Day, Mansfield Middle School is going to be hosting its Veterans Day program and providing students with the opportunity to learn from and honor veterans in our community. So that's a great tradition that's continuing on. this year. This past Saturday, which was a glorious weather day, was the fall installation of Don't Mess with Mansfield. This is a twice a year townwide litter cleanup, happens around Earth Day, and we launched the fall cleanup to happen shortly after Halloween, which with all the parties and get-togethers has a tendency to generate a lot of trash in certain residential neighborhoods. So this year, which is in keeping with, so last November, which was our first Don't Mess with Mansfield campaign day, there were 100 some Yukon students, and the numbers this November were similar. You may remember last year it was like 300 some in the spring. So we'll see if maybe the spring always is kind of a higher level of turnout, but 100 Yukon students is still wonderful. We haven't gotten the statistics yet on the final, bag counts of litter that were collected. When those numbers are tabulated, we'll certainly share them with the council, and we share them through the litter working group in the town university relations committee at its next meeting. But in addition to the work that Yukon students and volunteers did, also about a dozen volunteers from our community, including representatives from the Mansfield Lions and high school students, picked up litter along Pleasant Valley Road. So I want to express thank you for those efforts as well. I know I missed the last council meeting. Maria and I, Ms. Capriola and I were in Tampa for the ICMA conference, which is, as always, a great opportunity to, meet with and hear from thought leaders in the public sector and particularly local government on new innovative ways of doing things. So certainly appreciate the council's support in funding that endeavor and letting us attend those conferences on an annual basis and learn and grow and bring those ideas and inspiration back to the community. But I know you also, while I was gone, and Mr. Carrington was sitting in the seat as a proxy, you all wrapped up my annual review process, which I know we had an opportunity to discuss in executive session. But since I wasn't here at the last meeting, I do want to publicly express my appreciation for the council's ongoing support, and certainly is an honor and privilege to continue to serve as Mansfield's town manager. And I hope, deep into the future, you'll continue to believe that my leadership and management serves this community well. It's a wonderful community to work in. We obviously had an election this past week, and I just want to say thank you to everybody involved in the organization of the election, starting with early voting and continuing on through election day and thereafter. And that includes the individual to my right and her staff in the town clerk's office, all the help with absentee voting. But we once again propped up 2 early voting locations, one at the Yukon bookstore and another here at Town Hall, and 914 residents took part in early voting. And for a municipal election, which obviously doesn't trigger the same number of turnout as state or federal elections, 33% of registered voters voting is still a pretty impressive turnout. So a little over 3,000 votes cast of, I think, 9,400 registered voters. So appreciation to our elected registrars, Al Fertoni and Ron Menizza, but certainly their deputies, who are no strangers to this, having served as registrars themselves for several years, Ann Grenadier and Vera Ward, and all our election workers. Just really appreciate the effort, and encourage anybody who hasn't seen the results yet to go on the Secretary of State's website for all the details in the state's election center. Just a few more updates here. We've had, over the past couple weeks, an opportunity to start plowing through site visits with EDM Studios. That's the architecture and design firm that we're working with on the municipal services campus master plan. So we're looking at everything from current and future needs of Town Hall, this municipal building, community center, senior center, and Mansfield Public Library. And we've done site visits of all of these facilities. And so it really is just the beginning of the process. But, thus far in the early going, I know, talking with members of our department head team and other staff, just based on the questions that the folks from EDM Studios are asking, they have a lot of really good ideas, but they're asking, very informed questions, and there's a great level of engagement. So I think we picked a great firm to work with. And as this process moves forward, obviously, and the council is engaged and kind of brought up to speed on some of the things we're thinking, I hope you feel that we're well served by EDM and their team. And as a reminder, this whole project is being funded by a $250,000 grant that we received from the state, the Community Investment Fund, that's administered by the Department of Economic and Community development. Hard to believe we're 3/4 of the way through Local Government Academy, 9 sessions in, so just a few more left. We'll be at the library this week, and then we'll be doing Mansfield Public Schools in Region 19 the following week, and then we have an off week for Thanksgiving, and then we close out with boards and committees and kind of just the general wrap-up session in early December. So I know we have one new member of the council who's been a very active participant in that, and another really good year. Certainly enjoy doing that every year. A couple more things. I want to make sure everybody knows that the library is going to be holding a kids coat swap this Saturday, the 15th, and it'll go beyond the 15th while supplies last. So you can donate gently used and good condition kids coats by bringing them to the library's main desk anytime, going back to November 1st and through the 14th. But then on the 15th, you can get a new to you free kids coat, and you don't have to donate a coat to get a new coat. So please stop by, spread the word. Anybody that you know, friends, family, etc., in need of a coat for one of their children, November 15th. Parks and Recreation, November 13th. Just as a reminder, we have bids due, responses to a request for qualifications for firms that were looking to get help from future improvements to Southeast Park, Sunny Acres Park, and potentially separately the establishment and design of a Mansfield Dog Park. ADA compliance and accessibility upgrades is front and center when it comes to Sunny Acres and Southeast Park in terms of some of the things we're trying to achieve. But really, we're trying to work with a firm that can help us reimagine and chart a vision for these facilities. So while accessibility improvements are really important, other areas of need to make these assets more valuable, higher and beneficial use, which I know is a question that the deputy mayor asked about at a recent meeting. We will kind of custom build a scope of work that meets the needs of the town and those parks on a going forward basis. I think the last thing I touch on is just that I know our human services staff, I really want to commend them for all the work they're doing around the clock right now, monitoring the impacts of the federal government shutdown, which hopefully, there may be resolution here on the horizon, but certainly when it comes to impact related to disruption and SNAP benefits and food security, our team's been working very diligently, with our local food pantry partners to ensure continued access to food support. And some of the specific ways they're doing that is spelled out in the written report, so I won't go through all that, but I just want to, again, extend a big thank you to Jessica St. Louis and her team. Obviously, we have a lot of people in our community that are going through a difficult time, and I think this is an opportunity for us to step up, and I think we are. So I'll end my report there.
Thank you. Questions for the town manager? Nobody has questions? for them? Go ahead.
Do we
Mr.
get it in writing or?
It was in your email.
Yeah, so
Oh, it's
my
in my email.
Yes, it comes usually a day before our meeting. It was a
Day of
little
the
bit
meeting,
later
no?
than normal,
yeah,
but
normally 1 or 2 o'clock the day of the meeting. That's kind of what you can expect.
I didn't check it today.
yeah.
I should.
Any other questions for the town manager? No? Well, then we'll move on to reports and comments of council members. I'll begin. There were 2 veterans events that held in the town over the weekend. On Friday, the senior center held a brunch. Food was wonderful. There were quite a few people there. There was music and entertainment at the end of the afternoon. Real thanks go to the staff of the senior center for having pulled this together and for their continued commitment to offering opportunities to honor veterans. On Saturday, Mansfield participated in the multi-town effort. And again, here we had 2 Jessicas working. Jessica St. Louis organized it, our head of human services, with the help of Jessica Tracy from Senior Center. The people from out of town were very impressed with the quality of the program. Ms. Cotton spoke, and Ted Graziani, a former state legislator, spoke. The focus was on Vietnam veterans and on making sure that there's some accounting for the lack of welcome that they received as they returned. the hardships that they experienced, their lack of understanding of the conflict that was going on at home, and the pain and of realizing that people were not thankful for their service, but were actually spitting on them as they got off airplanes and generally disrespectful. So it was an attempt, a significant attempt to compensate for that loss. There were about 140 to 150 people in the audience. It was a really great turnout and a fine event, and our town staff deserves a great deal of thanks for this. In fact, the organizer for the VFW, Ed DeGata, created the special award for Jessica St. James because of all the work that she had put into this. I was also very glad to report on the Don't Mess with Mansfield. One of the things that we have been working on is building better relationships with the university, and getting kids into our community is a real contribution to that effort. People don't really appreciate how much the university students do contribute to our community. Certainly in human services, there are dozens of volunteers who work with children. Um, and we now have a couple of organizations that have picked up particular roads that they are responsible for cleaning. Mr. Temeko published a photograph of a group of UConn students cleaning up Hunting Lodge Road. That was a really fine contribution, and it continues. So I think that's what I have to report. Does anybody else have comments? Mr. Shaken?
Thanks. I wanted to add my congratulations to everyone on their election and on a well-run campaign. This sort of came together at the last minute campaign-wise. I don't usually talk politics in this part of the agenda or any time on the council, but it was such an awesome community effort that I think people from all political parties participated in, just sort of last minute, as we knew people in the community were suffering from the federal government shutdown and SNAP benefits running out. Collected 667 pounds of food across all 4 polling places on election day to donate to the Covenant Soup Kitchen in Willimantic. Beyond my wildest dreams of who would see a Facebook post in 24 hours and respond, and people just kept bringing it all day long. So thank you to the community. I think definitely something that will continue, maybe something that can move off of the political realm and into something that we do officially at the town level. That is something that's sort of part of election day here every year. So I appreciate that. And also just another word of thanks. I know everyone has said it already, but to the nonpartisan folks who run our elections in town, our 2 registrars of voters, Ron and Al, as well as our deputy registrars of voters, Ann and Vera, who are our former registrars of voters. Early voting makes their job a lot more than it used to be. And we had high turnout again this year, but it's the same amount of work, no matter how much turnout there is. Just another word that we run an incredibly tight ship here election-wise with no issues ever. And when they come up, they are addressed easily and quickly and legally, most importantly. And so a huge kudos to them. They don't get paid very much, and it's a long, long 2 weeks now, not just a long, long day.
2 weeks and 3 days. But who's counting? Any other, Ms. Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I had the extreme honor of being able to be the keynote speaker at North Wyndham School for a joint class of 4th graders. And it did my heart good to know that the future is bright. They had a full program and a song that they had 3 directors. Everything was bilingual. Everything, what was in Spanish was in English and vice versa. And they were very excited, presented a lot of gifts, and They had a very clear understanding of the meaning of Veterans Day and the sacrifice, even afterwards, came up one by one, did like a recessional, and I got many hugs and handshakes. And it reminded me of why I love being an educator. And then the following day, as the mayor said, I had the honor of being able to celebrate our area, our regional Veterans Day at E.O. Smith, and looking forward to tomorrow's Veterans Day service at the middle school. And after that, I will go as the veteran that I'm allowed to do and go get my freebies around town.
Thank you. Anybody else? Yes, Mr. Bruder.
I won't be able to say it as eloquently as Mr. Shagan, but I also wanted to say congratulations to everybody. The reason why I love this town is the, for what we were able to do in those 24 hours. And it's just very, very thankful to be here and looking forward to working with you all.
Ms. Sychak.
Is it on?
Yes.
Okay. So I squeaked in. And so I keep saying I'm squeaking in to everyone, my family and relatives and things. And they said, well, then keep squeaking, Gail. And so, okay. But, I've been on town council in Willimantic, select woman in the city of Wyndham, select woman in the town of Ashford, and on the Board of Finance for 10 years. So I come with some experience under my belt. And every time I got into office, I got elected, I always said, I'm not affiliated with any party. I'm here for the people. I'm here for who brought us into this town council. And who's talking? Oh, the news.
No, I think
That's your lawyer.
that's a-
Oh, it's the lawyer. So, but I just wanted to say that I want to enjoy working with this council and be here for the next 2 years plus.
Thank you. I think all of us feel, well, some of us are more partisan than others, but certainly all share your desire to work for the town as a whole. So, one of the things, as I did very brief door knocking, I was continually amazed and grateful by the people who said they just love Mansfield, and by the people who have grown up here and returned. So this really is a pretty special place. So anybody else? I do want to remind people that the Holiday Fund is collecting money and donations for various kinds of holiday supports. There are Thanksgiving and Christmas. There's a general holiday fund with money. There's a food pantry. There's adopt a family programs. So if people wish to continue their generosity to their fellow citizens, to contact Human Services, and there are a number of ways to do that. Okay, the next item is reports of council committees. I don't believe anybody has met. Has finance, personnel, committees? Nope. All right. Next item on the agenda, petitions, requests, and communications. I would like to call your attention to item D, the flyer that's been put out by Sustainable Connecticut acknowledging our gold certification and some of the information about why we received it. I decided I was going to wear gold tonight because we're a gold certified town. So there you have it. I'm hoping that we do hear from Ms. Byers on the voter turnout project. I encouraged her to come to a public session to speak as audience participation to propose her program, and we'll see what happens. Any items for future agendas? Nope. All right. Now, the process for executive session is this for our new members. We move into executive session. it takes a vote. The executive session is limited very strictly to items which are legal under the state laws regarding executive session. We cannot discuss anything beyond what is within those rules. Anything that that is discussed in executive session stays in executive session. You may discuss it with fellow council members, but not with anyone else. So, Mr. Shaken, you want to move us into executive session?
Sure. I move that we enter into executive session to discuss pending claims and litigation in accordance with Connecticut General Statute, Section 1-206B, to review the town attorney's services related to contested matters, and to that executive session, in addition to us, we invite Attorney Deneen, Assessor Chandler, and Manager Aylesworth. And
And Ms.
Maria
Capriola.
Capriola.
I will second that.
All those in favor, please raise your hand. All right, we'll take 5 minutes to clear the room, and then we will come back into executive session.
Recording stopped.
Okay, okay.